Hey guys, this is Shay Mcgee and Megan Timothy with the Shamrock Group in Century 21 Everest. Megan wanted to sit down today and go over a couple of questions that the buyers that she's been working with lately have had. And we wanted to try and go over a few things and clear some stuff up for you guys. So, Megan, go ahead and give us a start.
Okay, the very first question I want to ask, because it's the one that's asked the most. How much will it cost out of pocket to buy a house? Like, how much do I need for a down payment? What do I need saved to buy a house?
Okay. Now, by and large, we have amazing lenders that will help you with this and help you get all this taken care of. But we'll go through some of the basics. With FHA, the norm is 3.5% down. So based on a $200,000 house, that's $7,000. Now, before you guys all gasp and think, oh my gosh, I can never afford a house, there are a number of different programs that are zero down programs that we can get you into a house with. But when I say zero down, I mean a zero down payment, but the very least that we can get you into a home with is $2,000, and I'll explain why. To start us off, we need an earnest money deposit, okay? And it needs to be at least $1,000. Putting more than that is always preferable and can strengthen your offer, but anything less than $1,000 simply won't be taken seriously and will be thrown out. And at settlement, that'll go towards your down payment. If you're using one of those zero down payment programs, that money, or you can credit it towards the price of the house, whichever you want. So we have the earnest money deposit, and then immediately after that, we want to schedule a home inspection to make sure the house is in the physical condition that you want it to be, and that costs about $400. I tell all of our clients this, but this is not the place to try and save $150. There are inspection companies out there that'll do it for $250. Don't cheap out right now. What they will find with infrared inspections, looking for hot spots in the electrical, possible, old leaks and mold, will save you tens of thousands of dollars. Don't cheap out. So we've got $1,000 for our earnest money deposit. We've got $400 for our inspection, and then $600 for the appraisal to make sure that the home is of the proper value for the bank for them to give us the loan. So $2,000 is what you need to have set aside, ready to go and be able to spend, but those should be the only upfront costs in buying a home.
And what is the inspection and the appraisal?
Okay. The inspection, in my opinion, is the most important due diligence thing that you will do for a home. The inspection will take a look at your electrical, your plumbing, to some extent, the foundation, the house, the insulation in the walls, how all of the appliances are working. They just take a really good, solid look at everything to do with the house and give you a very detailed report on everything that's going on with this house. By and large, they're going to come in at about 50 pages, and a lot of people get nervous about that, but we're paying them to nitpick and find every possible problem. We, of course, look for the big ones like the roof, the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical, and anything that is a safety issue. It's the world's best honey-do list. Things to get going and take care of. There might be a small crack here or something to fix up there. But once we have that, you can have peace of mind knowing that the house is not going to fall down around you, and you're gonna have that house for a number of years and it's going to take care of you. But that's what a home inspection is. Now, the appraisal looks at the house and what it is in the market and makes sure that it is of the value, at least the value that we're offering for it. Because if we found a house for $300,000, got an appraisal, and it's only worth $275,000, you wouldn't want that house anyway because you're overpaying for it. Not that we would ever let that happen because we do a market analysis beforehand to avoid that. But you always want to know, and the bank has to know, that their investment is very sound with your house backing it. So that's the difference between an inspection and an appraisal.
And when are those done in the process of getting a house?
Okay. Once we get an offer in and it's accepted, the moment we become under contract, or if it's in the evening, the very beginning of the next business day, we want to order that home inspection. Because the first period we have is called the buyer due diligence, making sure that we have, and the house is of the condition that we need it to be. Okay, once it's under the condition that we need it to be, it looks great. Then after that, we order the appraisal to make sure that the lender is happy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so under those same things, what kind of homeowner insurance should someone get? We've had this question. I've got it a lot. People want to know if there should be earthquake, flood insurance. What kind of home insurance?
Okay, that's fair. Now, a lot of this, again, you're going to want to talk to your insurance agent to get his or her professional opinion. But homeowners insurance usually all covers things like fire, and if some weirdo drives his car into the side of your house, someone accidentally backs into your garage door, things of that nature. Now, when it comes to earthquake insurance, that's a big one, because in the state that we're at, there's a lot of seismic activity, and if you listen to scientists, we're something like 40-year earthquake. So it can't be a bad thing, okay? I would much rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because if you don't have earthquake insurance and it destroys it, you're still on the hook to pay off a mortgage, and you don't have a house standing, and there's not much shy of like bankruptcy and stuff that you can do, but it could financially wipe you out. Now, when it comes to flood insurance gets a lot easier, because if you're not in a federally mandated flood area, it's not available to you. And if it is available to you, you have to have it. So it makes it real easy. They will tell you, you might flood here, you should have this insurance, and when they say you should, they mean you will.
Yeah. You have to.
And if you're not in a flood zone, it's not even offered. So they make it pretty easy there.
And fire comes along with.
Fire comes with your everyday homeowner's insurance. So.
And how do you decide what homeowner's insurance you should go with?
See, now that you should definitely shop with different insurance companies. Most people end up packaging their homeowner's insurance with whomever has their cars for their auto insurance, and a lot of times that can be a good thing, but different companies cover different things and for different prices. Just because they cover the cars certainly may not be the fact that they're the best all the way around. We can definitely refer people to help get you taken care of and have those conversations to make sure that you get the right insurance for you.
And another question I have received is, do I have to have an HOA fee?
No.
And let's explain what it is.
Okay, an HOA fee stems from your home being part of a homeowners association. A homeowners association is a group of homeowners that have a small governing body over that particular subdivision or set of houses, and they set apart different rules. A lot of people are really down on homeowners associations. I'm not necessarily down on them, because it depends on what they cover. I had one that was great. It was $31 a month. It kind of made sure that you didn't have 3-foot weeds with a broken down El Camino on blocks in front of it.
Oh, so you mean what your house looks like?
No, it doesn't. And it's the backyard and it's new construction. Anyways, it was home value. It was home value insurance. It kept people from having derelict houses.
So your value of your home stays
because
good.
When everybody's home looks
price.
good, the value stays up. Now, there are some, just because it's just any group of people makes their own rules, some are really stringent and have some really crummy rules, like you can't fly an American flag. I mean, just some crazy...
Really? There's one that you can't fly? How can
There's
you
more
do
than one.
that?
There's a bunch. And it just doesn't match what they want. And
I didn't know they went to that extreme.
There are some
I know
that are nuts.
you do the ones where they pay for the parks, and then they're like, oh, well, we want to put a new dog park in, so your HOA fee is going to go up higher.
And a lot
but
of
you
times
have to
they
reserve to go to that park.
A lot of times they do, and a lot of the good ones, they take care of the park, or they have a fitness center, or a splash pad, or different kinds of things. And a lot of times they manage money better than your city might, and can give you more for your buck. So it really depends on the homeowners association. But to get to the basis of your question, most homes are not in HOAs, so you won't have to worry about it. But that's something that will come up during our buyer due diligence period to find out and be able to take a look over those documents to see if those rules and everything with the homeowner association is something that fits for you and you still want to move forward.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
I will tell you one more thing.
You should briefly talk too about, okay, I'm pre-approved for this amount, like $200,000. So I'm looking at townhomes and condos for $198,000 with HOA fees of $200. Mm-hmm. I think you should kind of talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Perfect. That's perfect. And one thing I'll throw in there before I forget to say it again, you cannot write off on your taxes homeowners association fees, which is one of my least favorite things about it.
And that's part of what you're just going to talk about right now too.
Yes. When you go for a home and you get pre-approved, to go with Megan's numbers, you're approved at $200,000. Okay? That is set up for your principal, your interest, your taxes, and insurance. Everything for the house with the exception of utilities and such. But a homeowners association fee needs to be taken into effect because in yours, like $198,000 with a $200 a month HOA fee, they're not going to qualify because that $200,000 eats up a little over $80,000 of their purchasing power. So that really eats up a whole lot. Now, if you're looking at one that's, maybe $30, $35 or something like that, you still have to take that in, but that still affects you about $15,000 on your purchasing price, give or take. But you really need to pay attention, and it's kind of a catch-22 because people that are looking, let's say, under $250 are going to run into a lot of condos and a lot of townhouses and see those deals there to be able to get their family in for a lesser price than some of the big homes. But a lot of times those homeowners association fees are killers. So it's definitely good to have that conversation with us and with the lender right up front.
It is, definitely. Now let's say you buy a house, you live in it for a few years, you want to sell your home. When is the best time of year to sell your house?
The best time of year is a little tough because it depends on what you're looking at. Most people say, the spring. You got to sell in the spring. That's the best time in the world.
There is a lot of buyers in the spring.
There are a lot of buyers in the spring, and there are a lot of sellers in the spring, and it kind of balances out. A lot of times there's a bump in value in the spring, too. There's a lot to be said about that. Having your home ready by mid to late February is great. Honestly, the buyers start coming out of the woodwork the second consecutive good weather weekend of the year. People get spring fever, they want a house, they want a bike, they want a four-wheeler, they want a trailer, they want it all right now to go have fun over the summer. So there's a lot to be said for that. But for any time of year, there's balance, and that's the market itself. Right now, it's getting towards mid-December, okay? And a lot of people are hunkering down. They don't want to put their house on the market because there aren't as many, buyers out there, which is true. But one thing I really like about selling homes at this time of year is everyone that is out there looking to buy or sell are serious. All the tire kickers stopped 2 weeks before Halloween. That's when they start getting into the holiday mindset. They quit, they hunker down for spring and stuff. So the people that are listing their houses, by and large, aren't demanding too much. They really need to sell or they wouldn't be doing it. people buying really want to buy, and they have it in their family plan right now to buy a home, or they wouldn't be doing it. So you may get less showings on a house, or as a buyer, you might be looking at less houses, but everybody is serious, ready to get down, get to business, find a common ground, and get into their new homes.
So on the selling side of it, very common question is, how much does it cost to sell my home? Like, should I do repairs before listing my house? Like, how much does it cost?
Okay, the easy answer is yes, do repairs. But when you're looking to sell your house, it is definitely in your best interest to talk to someone like yourself or me and go over, because you can definitely overspend and spend a whole lot of money that you're not going to get back out of it. Some repairs are pretty much mandatory. You've got to do it, or no one's going to fall in love with your house, or people are going to give you garbage low offers on it.
Yes.
But there's certain things that are going to help a buyer come in, fall in love with your house to the point where they want to have it, and they don't want to nickel and dime you anymore. They can see their family and their life in this house, so they'll give you a reasonable amount that we can negotiate and move forward. But one of the first things that we do is sit down, walk through the house, and point out, this is what you can change. This is what you should do. And we always start with lowest dollar first, because there's a whole lot of low dollar things that give you a whole lot of bang for your buck. When you yourself were selling your house, we walked through your home for almost an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
And we went
like
through
3 pages of lists of little things to do.
A whole lot of little
like
things.
just cleaning vents.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the teeniest little things to do.
And how long was your house on the market?
Never was.
And
like it never was. It got
how
sold
much
before
compared
the
to what we
market.
wanted? How much did we sell it for?
The amount that we wanted.
So we got exactly what we wanted in no
Yes.
time at all. Do you think
Okay.
we would have been able to do that had we not made those repairs?
No, absolutely not. That house, I mean, it was just some painting. It was cleaning some vents. It was things like that. But
It
my
wasn't
children,
in bad shape, but we
no,
made it
but
gorgeous.
I have 2 children that like drew on the walls.
And we made it gorgeous, and somebody
Yes.
fell in love with it. So by and large, would you say it was well worth the time and the money that you put in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't even that much money.
No.
The teeny stuff was under $1,000 for the whole house. It took me a month. Even painting the whole back fence
Yep.
was under $1,000 to do.
And it works. So, I mean, by all means, if you're thinking about selling your house, talk to us, 30, 60 days beforehand, so we can give you some, spots to focus on to get that done. Because the moment we put your house on the market, we'll have professional photos and videos and stuff taken, and that is most people's, first impression of the home, where we're looking to set ourselves apart from the other homes on the market and get people into our home and fall in love with it and buy it.
Another good question. Well, this is a 2-part question. People have asked me, as being the home sellers, they've asked if they should get their house inspected to see what they need to be fixed. Or they've asked if they should get it appraised to know how much the value of the home is. So they're ready when people buy it. I want to know, you're a professional, what you think.
Okay, I am a big fan on getting the home inspection done as the seller for a few reasons. One, you can tackle all the issues that might come up, saving yourself time, energy, and money. When you're already looking at buying another house and everything, you've already gone and done all the hard work, okay? You've already put it up in its very best condition. Second, it's a really big benefit to say, we've already got this home inspected.
That was my next question. Would you give that inspection to the buyer?
Once we're under contract, yes.
Absolutely.
I'm not just giving it to anybody, but once we're under contract, they fall in love with it, yes. And I would say, this is what it was. This is what we already repaired for you. You've got it ready to move in. You come in, drop your stuff, set it up how you want, sit down, take a giant sigh of relief, and enjoy it.
So as a seller, that is a good investment. I mean, yeah, it's about $400 to go get done. But you get some really good buyers, and you'll be saving the buyer's money where they might want to put a little bit extra on the top.
I think it's a huge benefit to a buyer. I think it's a benefit to the seller because they can get on top of things without having that time crunch on how fast it needs to be done. I think it's a good thing all the way around.
What about the appraisal?
Now, the appraisal, I'm not as much of a fan there. Because
even if you pay for it, they will still have to pay for it.
They have to get their own appraisal no matter what. If there's a strange situation, I've had a couple where they had solar, okay?
Yep.
And solar's a weird one, and we can do a completely different podcast about solar. As a matter of fact, I did one not too long ago, a video about it. But with that, Daniel, we need to put that up, by the way.
What up?
That solar video.
What?
I'm hollering at Daniel. He does all this.
Okay.
But anyways, with solar, it was a different kind of a situation, so we wanted to make sure that we were getting the proper value for the sellers. So in those two cases, we did get an appraisal. By and large, if your house isn't in if it's similar to the houses, okay, and you're not in some really rural place where there's not true comparables, I would say I would save the money and not go with an appraisal, because we can do the same thing with a market analysis and give you pretty close to the same numbers. If your house is remarkably different from anything around you in your neighborhood or your city, or you're very rural, or you've got a much bigger lot than most people, or things like that, it would be worth it. But if you're not in one of those situations, I would save the money.
I could see that, but I know we were talking about my mom's home where they have owned the house for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been on the MLS, so you can't even look up how many bedrooms and stuff like that, and you can on the taxes data, but it's not correct.
Right. But
you were talking about, so if something, you go along in those lines, if somebody's owned the house for 30 plus years
But that's where professionals like us come in, because we can come in, look at what the actual bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, garage, lot size, and everything is, and we don't have to have that. We can build it from scratch and still put together a market analysis versus what else actually has moved on the market recently to bring that valuation. There are some people that would feel more comfortable getting an appraisal, and honestly, if it's going to give you that level of comfort and peace of mind, sure, spend that $600. If it gives you that peace of mind and it's worth it for you, absolutely. But by and large, most people could save that money and not necessarily need to.
What is the next thing? Great question. Should I use a real estate agent?
Yes.
Well, that's the best answer right there. Yes, because that's the truth. Yes. People try not to use them, and
Okay. To sell a home without a real estate agent, looking to save, 6-7%, on average, those people lose 17%.
You don't have anybody fighting in your corner.
You don't have anybody that's there that will make sure that your home is marketed at the proper price, that will defend that price, that will negotiate hard for you to make sure that no one's trying to steamroll you and take advantage of you. You have someone that does this every day, that watches this, that is a true professional, that doesn't have a side job and doesn't do this 2-3 hours a month. This is what we do every single day, and we pride ourselves on continued education and getting better every day to make sure that we have their backs. Now, buying, a lot of people get pushed around buying too because the seller feels like they have all the cards and they can just tell everybody what they'll take and what they won't. And you don't necessarily have to. If you have a strong negotiator there, you can save way more money than you spend. And if you're buying, you're not paying the commission on the buyer's agent anyway.
That's true.
So buying without an agent is just a real bonehead move because you get amazing professional counsel and you're not even really paying for it. Why wouldn't you do that?
I agree with you. I don't know why people don't, but I ask that a lot.
They should use a
realtor.
They do,
and I'm like, why aren't they?
They should use these two realtors. Let's just be real.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That is true. All right, well, that's everything, actually. We've answered all the questions I've gotten recently. I bet you there'll be more questions that come up that I will write down, and we can conquer them.
We'll have this set up, and we'll get it to the point where you can ask us questions and type in comments and stuff below. At any time, feel free to reach out to either of us for the questions, whether they're from the monumental to the mundane. We're happy to answer them, and we'll get you taken care of. Until next time, guys.
Bye.